radiator's broken.
Broken or empty?
Yeah, I don't have enough food.
It's
No,
leaking, but it's
red.
warm. It's damaged.
What's his story? Where's he come from? Where's he got car gear?
I don't know where it's come from. This car's broken.
Jerry's gifted out 10 memberships. Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry! Cheers, Jerry. What a lovely shirt. Cheers, Jerry. 10 new members in the live chat. Thanks to Jerry. If you got to give the membership, be sure to say thank you.
Prepare a new we am the host the realm of the cursed core.
Avalanche got one. Paladin got one. Rage got one. Thank you very much, Jerry. Jerry. Guessing he's looking for.
Is he looking?
What have you got? Oh, nice. That's exactly what you need. Yeah, he's working.
Gifted meager moons. Set CPU to 1 core. Set RAM to 128 megabytes to 256 megabytes.
Yeah, trying to fix.
Mate, he's gonna shoot you.
Wanna push down the hill or what?
No, he
didn't
didn't
get
put it in the bush. That's not stolen.
Is it drivable, Joe?
Well, you have to
Blowtorch the radiator.
Drive it.
full of water. Take it out?
No! Yeah, but it was empty anyway.
How does it work?
We're gonna shoot. Can you not blowtorch radiators? Can you go in gas?
Maybe not.
In there or?
I think this blowtorch only fixes certain things, not radiators, unfortunately. He's not getting anything in the car, is he? Useful.
Here.
Pop in the blowtorch.
Alright, let's leave him.
Alright, we'll leave you to it. Best of luck.
Yeah, good luck. We're gonna go on foot.
Alright.
Bye.
See ya.
Right, okay. Okay. That would have been awkward.
He's gonna be there all day trying to fix that car.
There's the maybe something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Ed.
We're gonna try
Okay,
to
cool,
cool,
alright.
but he's kind of nice for allowing us to even get involved in his car thing. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that's the point.
we got to call it there. Shorter stream today. We got some stuff to do this afternoon. We're back as normal tomorrow though, so join us in the morning. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Yeah, that's it for today. Let us know if you want more Avalon. We can go back. I feel pretty confident we could do a full bunker run from what we've seen
Full
today.
bunker run. I want to see the oil rig as well. There's stuff to do that we need to check off our list. And I also just love the fights that happen over there. Quite fun.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, sorry, short one today, but we got some stuff to do this afternoon, which we have to get off for. So we will see you tomorrow, bright and early, for some more DayZ.
Yes, thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you had fun. We definitely had fun. And we'll see you very soon.
Yeah.
pretty sure the ocean's over there. Ah, what a nice place.
Oops.
Kind of the iconic. Call that the TRNZ great shot. Because it's like reloading gun anyway. Just like, what the fuck is he talking about? Look at that.
I have something to do, partition. Mini ritual formatted the disk afterwards. So I'm gonna go sudo
I'm not doing like anyone.
mount
It'd be interesting to see how much we grow there on here next.
/dev /sda
Maybe just see if that calls for
one
as well.
space
Who knows, maybe the mic will be a better
/mnt
connection,
/sda one.
For now though, I'm going to call it there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you everyone for watching this very short but also sweet stream. Again, I wasn't originally going to stream today,
Wait.
but I felt better, so I was like, you know what, heck it, I'm going to continue on this, see what will happen, all that stuff.
Oops.
I'm going to send you over from what you did.
Sudo
The rest of the
mkfs dot ext4 /dev /sda1.
And having fun. We did it. We completed it, mate. Completed it. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone on the YouTube for watching. Thank you everyone for chilling in chat. Thank you everyone for the journey to Avalon Bunker, where we managed to open all the doors and complete it, mate. Easy peasy. Simple as that. And also managed to end with a bunch of stuff as well. So, GG. Bye. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Again, I appreciate you all chilling, stopping on in, enjoying yourselves. Thank you everyone. And I shall catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye. For now.
This is a Toshiba Portage 31. This is a Toshiba Portage 3110 CT. It's a shockingly thin and light ultra-portable Pentium 2 from 1999. And although this is just about the coolest possible way to run Windows 98, that's not what
What?
we're going to do with it.
Bitch.
I'm going to show you just how incredibly good tinycore Linux is. So stay tuned. And if you enjoy personal computing at the lowest possible point of the depreciation curve, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Like many ultra-portable laptops from the turn of the millennium, the Portage 3110 CT is a design of compromises. Sure, there's no optical drive or floppy drive, and most of the connectivity is relegated to an external port replicator that I don't have, but it still manages to pack in a PCMCIA card slot, microphone and headphone jacks, and a single USB 1.1 port. It has a relatively comfortable keyboard, though I have
What the fuck
two
are you talking
annoyingly
about?
broken keys on mine, and an absolutely beautiful, glorious 10.4-inch SVGA active matrix.
That's what I fucking put, you dumb shit. You dumb shit. ChatGPT is retarded. Fucking hate ChatGPT.
Now the sticker on this thing says Windows 98 or NT,
Sudo
but some absolute
mount
bad lad decided to install Windows NT on this
/dev
thing, which is why we're going to do the only reasonable
/sda1
thing and install a completely modern, up-to-date Linux distro on it.
/mnt
tinycore Linux is basically magic, but getting
/sda1.
that installed on here with no drives and
No
port
such
replication
what the fuck?
requires some light shenanigans. So let's take this thing apart, peek inside of it, and I'll show you what my plan is. Right after this quick word about today's sponsor, Delete Me. Okay, story time. When I was a wee young naive retro, I shared my full name and childhood home address on a vintage computing forum. Eventually, search engines picked up this post, and then the data brokers got it. And for years, long after I moved out of my childhood home, that stupid address haunted me online. This is exactly the kind of thing that today's sponsor Delete Me can help to address. Since starting this very public YouTube adventure, I've made attempts to manually clean up my information, but after using Delete Me, oh boy, did they find a lot, including that stupid childhood home address. While
You do
Delete
not
Me
reboot
only
yet.
found this
F-Disk
stuff,
even
but they
warns
showed
you
me
in
a ton
small
of
tests you
websites and
home.
brokers that have it, and helped me delete
Really?
it. I wonder if that's where they got the name Delete Me from. It is harder than ever to keep your private information private, and with all the dangers lurking out there online, like phishing scams, identity theft, it's more important than
Motherfucker.
ever to protect your private information. Get 20% off your Delete Me US consumer plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/actionretro and use promo code actionretro at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/actionretro, code actionretro. For a computer as absolutely teeny tiny as this, it is quite easy to get inside of. Just look how tiny this power adapter connector is.
What?
Alright, we have our totally dead battery, and then there's just 6 screws to get into the palm rest.
What?
Nice and easy. Ribbon cable here for the mouse buttons, and a normal sized laptop IDE hard drive. No weird 1.8-inch thing in here. Look at that. Let's see if we can figure out how to get into the keyboard. Yeah, there's our 64 megs of built-in
Media test
RAM.
failure.
I'd like to see
What?
where the CMOS battery is. Oh, there it is under here. Because that is definitely dead and leaking. So we really need to get that thing out of there. So I'll just take a peek at this underneath my newfangled digital microscope and see if I can clean it up a little bit. Alright, I think I did a pretty good job cleaning most of the gunk off. I just noticed something as I was putting this back together. I'm missing a whole frickin' ribbon cable that's supposed to go from the USB port and microphone and stuff to the motherboard. So this USB port is just dead. Okay, so here's the convoluted way we're going to get tinycore installed on this thing. I'm going to flash the installer ISO to an SD card, put the SD card into an adapter. We will boot the installer this way, and then I was going to have this on an external
tinycore ISO again,
USB
boot from
adapter
CD-ROM again, back into the live
plugged into
environment, then continue the
USB port,
ritual.
but since this is not even connected, we're going to have to try to use this
Rebooting live
USB 2.0
tinycore.
card bus adapter to hopefully give us
Sudo
working
mount
USB. We will
/dev/sda1
boot from here, install to the external
-mt
drive, and swap this drive
/sda1.
inside of here, and hopefully it just works. So we'll use Balena Etcher to
Install
flash
the spirit
installer
into
to
the
SD
disk.
card. Pop the SD
Sudo.
card in here, USB 2.0 card bus adapter, and that gives us 2 USB 2 ports, which means I can also hook up the hamster mouse. Alright, let's see if we can boot the installer. Hey, look at that!
Boot.
That is the
/vim.
tinycore Plus startup with all these different
64.
options for Window Manager. My favorite is Ice Window Manager. And tinycore Linux is extremely interesting because, well, it doesn't work quite like any other Linux out there. Every time this starts up, it basically does a fresh install of tinycore to RAM. And then when it says loading extensions, that's loading all of your installed applications that you choose to have start up on boot into memory, kind of also as a fresh install, which makes for a blazing fast Linux distro on just about any hardware, since it's all running from RAM. Oh yeah, check it out. Here we are, booted into the Core Plus ISO image. Oh, look how snappy it is. Oh, and the USB card works. Awesome. We have applications, TC install. We are going to grab core.gz from the mounted SDA boot directory. We're going to do a whole disk install to SDB, which is our externally connected drive. Oh yeah, we're going to get this Pentium 2 booting from mSATA. That is ridiculous. Alright, yep, we want all of this stuff. Sure, installer Application, okay. Proceed. Oh, it's blinking. We are installing. Alright, and successfully installed. Let's put this thing into the computer and see if it boots. Out comes you. And in goes you.
Okay.
I'm also going to pop out this USB card for now, because I'd like to see if it will connect to Wi-Fi. Oh yeah, it's booting, look at that. And here we are in our brand new fresh install of tinycore Linux. First things first, let's see if Wi-Fi works. Ooh, it sees it. Oh my goodness, I think we are connected to Wi-Fi. Let's see, ping google.com. Oh yeah, we're online, look at that. Our Pentium 2 is online. We've got some themes here. Infidel 2. Ooh, a nice dark theme, I like that. Yeah, we have a control panel. And, alright, wallpaper. Let's get ourselves a nice gradient here. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good, look at that. Ooh, I like it. Now, one of the interesting things about tinycore Linux is persistence. If we just shut down the computer, we would lose our customizations. We actually have to back up to disk so that we can reload all of our changes the next time it boots up. Because, again, when it boots, it's basically doing a fresh install to memory, which is one of the ways it is so freaking fast. Look at that. tinycore Linux does have an app store and a package manager called TCZ, but we can go and get some applications which tinycore calls extensions. I'm going to download Dillo, which is a very lightweight web browser, perfect for our 128 megs of RAM. Do a neofetch. Yeah, our mobile Pentium 2 at 299 megahertz, our Trident Microsystems Cyber
No files are extracted yet when you boot up the ISO / boot does not exist.
Alright, let's try out Dillo and see if we can browse the internet. Look how fast that loads. This is a modern web browser that can do HTTPS. Of course, this browser is extremely lightweight, and don't expect modern websites to
For
render
something like SRO or CD-ROM
Yeah, this is a
render entry,
perfectly reasonable modern Linux experience.
you see,
but tinycore Linux isn't just about
SR0
laughing
to
at
CD-ROM or
extremely
core
edgy
pure is still
computers as they try
mounted.
to render web
CD-ROM
pages.
isn't already.
No, we can use it to get totally usable
Sudo
experiences out of computers that
mount
aren't quite as old but still struggle with
slash
modern software.
dev
like this
slash
beautiful ThinkPad
SR0
X16S, which is a bit hampered with its 32-bit
slash
dual-core
MNT
CPU.
slash
Alright, I've got the tinycore Plus image on the good old
SR0.
iOD. Let's boot off the virtual CD-ROM drive here. Oh, that's gonna boot super fast on this thing. And we'll just do a full install.
Then copy the
And
mounted
indeed, yes, that
ISO.
installed in seconds, and now we are booting into our nice, fresh install. First things first, of course, we need to change the theme.
Copy the mounted ISO.
Infidel 2, nice pleasing
Mount
gradient.
SRO slash boot,
Obligatory
not
neofetch.
from boot.
And yep, we have a dual-core Intel L2400 at 1.667 gigahertz. And look how freaking little CPU this is using. It barely even registers on the two cores here. I mean, really, all operating systems should be like this. Why are we spending so much of our CPU resources just to render a pretty operating system when we can have a totally beautiful looking operating system for almost no usage? Alright, I really want to show you the Firefox situation on here because it's pretty cool. We do a quick search for Firefox in the App Store. We have a Firefox Get Latest application, which will download and install the latest version of Firefox. So we run the Firefox Get Latest script. It downloads Firefox, dependencies, and then packages Firefox as an extension for tinycore and then installs it. Oh, look at this. Alright, let's get progressively heavier with websites and see how they load. Alright, we've got Reddit. Dare we check Google News. Yeah, it's not the fastest web browsing experience I've ever had, but it's faster than it has any right to be on this particular computer. And look at that, look how little resources we're actually using. Yeah, we're not even halfway through the 3 gigs of memory. Alright, dare we try YouTube? Let's see if we can look up my friend Ike's Vintage Tech, whose video
Oh my god.
a few months ago actually reminded me how freaking good
MKDIR.
is. Yeah, he's installing tinycore on a Gateway Pentium 75. Oh, can't play it. Well, look at that. Well, let's leave YouTube up in that tab. Well, let's see, Jelly Mario. Can we play some stupid web games?
Sudo.
Oh, the device doesn't support WebGL. Yeah, this ThinkPad is pretty much my absolute favorite form factor for a laptop of all time, and I think it's one of the best machines that IBM ever made. And with a lightweight Linux distro, like tinycore Linux, it's really a usable machine again. I think the battery works. Let's find out together. Haha, look at that! I will of course leave a bunch of links down in the description below in case you want to try any of this fun stuff out yourself. In any event, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, please subscribe down below. And thank you very much for watching. And I just want to give a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for supporting me and supporting this channel and all the weird stuff I do. I am so very grateful, and I just could not do this without you.
So you might remember last year we took a look at SkyOS, which was a really fascinating operating system, not based on Linux or any other existing system. And on top of that, it was developed by a single person. Well, today we're going to be revisiting the world of non-Linux alternative operating systems.
Then why do you keep putting that in it?
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So Vizopsys is something that has been on my radar for a little while now, and I think I actually first discovered it back when I first took a look at SkyOS, because both of these operating systems were written from scratch and were developed primarily by a single person. But
why? It's not fucking... Oh my god.
Project that is still in active development. In fact, the version we're going to be taking a look at today is 0.92 that was released on September 21st, 2023. Which, yes, was a while ago, but with this being a one-man project, it's understandable that it's not going to be getting like really frequent updates. And the website that I'll have linked down below describes it as a small, fast, and open source OS.
Oh my god.
But functional GUI,
I'm fucking
tasking, and
restarting.
And we're going to be trying it out on an
This is pissing me off
today that far exceeds its minimum system requirements of at least a Pentium processor and 64 megabytes of RAM. And I'll just go ahead and show you the specs that we're working with here. We've got a Pentium 4 clocked at 2.8 gigahertz and about 1.5 gigabytes of RAM. So yeah, we should be able to try out this operating system no problem. And I say try it out because, well, I can't get this operating system installed on anything. The first system I tried to install Vizopsys on was the 98 PC, but I'll just go ahead and switch over to it here. It immediately errored out saying that the boot CD could not be identified, and this is it trying to boot off of the CD right now. It was able to get to this menu, but trying to go any further than this, you can't do. I also tried the other two releases that Vizopsys has because it's got a CD version, a floppy disk version, and a USB version. I tried the USB version on here by using Plop Boot Manager. I also tried the floppy disk version on here, which you think would work totally fine. Nope, it can't even boot from the floppy disk, and it errors out with not that it couldn't find the boot CD, but the boot device. And funnily enough, this was actually going to be that video I made back in 2024 on Calibri OS, you know, that I titled like a modern OS on a floppy disk. Like, holy cow, this was going to be that video because you can run this from a floppy disk and it's supposed to work. Well, I can't get this to work on any system I've tried. I've tried 8 different computers. 8 computers. Can't get it to install on anything. I can't get the floppy disk to boot, can't get the USB to boot, and I can get the CD version to boot on 2 systems.
the XP computer that we're going to be running it on today, and the Dell Latitude D610. I can actually get it to install on the Dell Latitude D610, but then when I try to restart and boot from the hard drive, it errors out saying that the boot device could not be identified. So, trust me, I've spent like days trying to get this working on all these different systems, and I've not gotten anywhere, so that's why, unfortunately, we're just going to be using the CD version of it on the XP computer here, and we'll go ahead and shut down, because I do want to show you what happens when I try to install this on this computer, because like I said, it can boot off of the live CD just fine. It's actually the install process where we experience issues. So I am going to swap out the hard drive so that we don't mess up our XP installation. And what you do is we're going to go in, click on install, and it's identified our disk here. We'll click on OK and open up the disk manager. So we're just going to delete all the partitions and then go to our empty space and create a new one. And we'll just make this 20 gigabytes in size. And you see we get this huge list of partition types, but Visopsys only works on either a FAT12, a FAT16, or a FAT32 partition. Those are the only partition types that it has full read and write capabilities with. But the reason why all these different file system types show up in here as supported is because this disk manager tool is also available under another name, Partition Logic, and that is a bootable CD that is based off of Visopsys, that is strictly this disk manager program that you can use to, partition your hard disk. So it's like an alternative to gparted. But you also have some additional tools in there. And we'll take a look at that towards the end of this video, as I would like to briefly demo that. But we're going to click on FAT32, and then we're going to set it as the active partition, and we will write changes to the disk and confirm. But we're not quite done yet, because if we were just to close out of this and go through the installer, it's not going to automatically write a master boot record to the disk. So if you didn't have one already, the system's not going to find anything to boot from. In fact, I experienced this in a virtual machine on my main Windows system, which, by the way, I can't get this system to boot in either VMware or VirtualBox running under my Windows PC. It actually errors out with the same boot device cannot be identified that I experienced on the Latitude D610. But anyways, if you don't tell it to write a master boot record to the disk, it just won't be able to boot from anything. So you have to go up here to disk and write basic MBR, and then it says after you write changes, the active partition will always boot automatically. Do you want to proceed? Yes. And then we can go and close out of this and continue on with the installation. So we'll select our partition, and then you get a choice between basic install and full install. I've been doing the full install just so we get everything, but I've also tried the basic install. Doesn't make a difference. And then you obviously just want to format it. You could also choose the file system type if you want to manually specify something. But we'll click on install. Are you sure? Yes. And then we'll copy the boot sector. That it usually is able to do. And then this is where it always fails. It mounts
That's cool.
the disk, and it says
It kept my
it's doing
inputs.
that,
That's
but
actually
it's
really
not
cool.
unmounted, and that's exactly
I was
what errors
typing
out
and I
when
didn't
you're
realize it
unable
was
to
still
unmount
going,
the
but it
disk.
fucking
Okay.
kept my
Many complaints
inputs.
about the partition size being too small, because I guess it's just not seeing the disk at all right now. It says 0K, and then it just quits. And do you want to reboot? We'll say yes. And I've tried various different things to get around this, and long story short, nothing works. I've tried to leave some empty space before the actual partition starts in case it has to copy like a boot partition to there. I've tried to go in and say maybe we'll do like FAT12, and then I've tried to use the whole drive. I've tried to make a smaller partition. I've tried to have it set as like this partition here, and then write changes, not format it, but then go out of it, go in here, and then from this menu choose format, choose file system type, and then choose the file system type from here. I've tried basic install, full install. I mean, just like I said, long story short, I can't get it to install. So had I been recording this whole time, this would have definitely ended up being a but everything went wrong video. But like, believe it or not, I don't want that to happen, because like this was supposed to be a demonstration video, and I'd like to demonstrate the operating system. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to start continue here, and even though it is from the CD, we can still go in here and access the system in a read-only state and take a look at what it has to offer. Now, the overall interface is definitely functional. It's not the most flashy thing in the world. It doesn't have any fancy like animations or anything like that, but it gets the job done. On the desktop here, you've got a few icons. You've got a menu bar up here.
User
Window,
local
only shows
etc
things if you have a window
SSH.
open and then exit, you've got log out and shut down. So we'll just start from the top here and open up computer. This is where you get access to your various devices. We've got our floppy drive, CD that we're currently booted from, our hard disk, which says Visopsis actually. That's interesting, but well, this is probably just because of the partition that we made on here. Just label itself as Visopsis. And then we have a temp directory over here. I probably should not have clicked on the hard drive because I don't think it's going to be able to read from it because there's not actually anything on it. So we'll just close out of this. And yeah, you might have been able to see there for, application exception. Okay, we're off to a fantastic start. Can we... Yeah, I should not have done that.
The daemon doesn't know how to behave.
System. And this is interesting, like, this message is only coming up when I click and, like, hold down the mouse button.
Manually create SSHD config before starting SSHD.
Okay, that got,
Okay.
no, that did not get rid of it. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to just force restart because I cannot get to this menu.
Sudo
Okay, that's better. So what I was trying to demonstrate there is when you move windows around, you can see that they don't drag the
user
window
slash
contents
local
with them. They just become these, boxes just with an outline.
slash
You just drag it around. Very
etc.
similar to how like early versions of Windows did. Another thing of note, these icons here were taken from KDE, specifically the Oxygen icon set for KDE Plasma, which is kind of funny because SkyOS used some KDE icons as well.
Sudo
We'll go ahead and close out of the computer window,
T
and we got a file browser as well, which is kind of the same thing going on here, just with you can actually see like the full file path. So we can go into like users, and there's nothing in there, but we can go into system and you just browse the file system. Here's the JPEG from the like startup screen. There is an image viewer that's going to be under programs here, where we're going to be spending most of our time, I would imagine. There's also a command prompt window here. So you've got a whole bunch of commands. If we type out help, and this just gives you an explanation of every single command you can do and what that command does. So we've got copy, we can set the date, we can defragment, delete user. I mean, we can just continue on here. I mean, there's a good amount of commands in here, and of course you can also just launch applications like file browser. So we could type that out if we want to. For instance, file browse, and that'll just bring up the file browser application. And under programs, we've got a good selection of applications in here. We have an archive manager for messing around with archives and unpacking them and doing all that. So not really much to see here because there aren't any like archives on this system to extract from what I can see. But if you had like a third-party piece of software you wanted to install on here that maybe came in a zip file or something, that would be useful. However, from what I've seen, there's not any third-party software available for Visopsis, which honestly makes sense with this being a more like hobbyist project that's not really intending to be like a replacement for Windows or Mac OS or anything like that. So there's probably very few, if any, developers that are actually making software for this. We've got a calculator. Now, with the way that Visopsis works, much like Windows, all of your application functionality is going to be contained within the window itself. It's not like Mac OS where the menu bar
area that's waiting for you to
and have
finish.
different
Functions
depending on what
Port
the actual window
22.
currently is. You always have your window menu and your exit menu. What you can do though is minimize stuff. So if I want to minimize the calculator, that's what this button is. And you see we do get a little bit of an animation there. That just minimizes it to the window menu. I can go in here, get calculator. There's no animation for bringing the window back, only for minimizing it. But yeah, so you got pretty basic self-explanatory window management. You've got a calendar program. You've got options down here for flipping between the months and even the years. So if I want to go back to January of 2025, we can do that. We can go to 2026 if we want to. There's no way to add like events or anything. You can just click on the days. I don't think this is actually setting the system date. Because that would be done from administration.
System.
But I mean, yeah, you can just close out of it, open it back up, and yeah, we are set to April 21st, which is the day that we're recording this. So pretty basic calendar. Command window we just saw. Computer. You have some like repeats in here of what's on the desktop. You got your file browser. You have your image editor.
Slash
There it is.
SSH
It's not JPEG, so we'll open that up.
slash
They're actually not really messing around with this. You
SFTP
were, like, way zoomed in
dash
here.
server.
We're gonna make the window a little bit larger here. So you can do that. that, of course, by just going at the edges there. And yeah, we are like, wait, can we? Oh, we can't zoom out any more than that. Oh my gosh, yeah, like the zoom out button is just grayed out. We can only zoom in. Okay, so this is probably the color selector. Okay, we just have RGB sliders, so we don't have like a color picker, you know, like where you
We'll
can pick
finish
different
and drop you
swatches.
back into
You
normal
have to
prompt.
just know like the exact RGB values of the color you want. So here's like a pink. And then can we set like this back color here? Is that just in the icon? I think it is. I don't think we can like specify
Pseudo.
that. But okay, let's maybe start on here. Oh, that's a bit of delay. See that? We can make shapes though, so we can do that. Can we fill? There aren't any other tools except for like what's up here. Okay, we could change the line thickness. Let's do that maybe at 100, and let's go to maybe here line thickness. Okay, that was selecting that, and okay, so this is making shapes that are full. But yeah, I mean, very basic looking image editor. I mean, it's nice that it's on here for sure. Now, how do we save something? Is that okay? This. What if we just try to overwrite the existing file there? Error saving file, yeah, because it's on the CD. So that's what this temp directory is for, because we can actually save stuff in here. So let's call that like test. I don't know what file extension.
Fake Ubuntu banter.
We can save that, and that should have, if we go into computer here and temp, yeah, we've got test in there, and I guess that's still a JPEG because that was the original format, but it didn't give us like an option to change. You know, let me go ahead and just make some more changes to it here. And then, oh, I guess you can't like save as, you're just saving to the existing file. That's interesting. Okay, let's close out of that and open it back
the
up,
portal is live.
and then
You
save.
have
Now we'll
successfully
give us the option. Yeah,
you
there's no
have
like file extension or like file
summoned
type
the
picker.
black
So
gate.
I guess I could, like, what if I just type in temp here, type in like test dot
connected
whatever,
via
will
SSH.
that actually give it that file extension? Yeah, it's just gonna remain a JPEG. And yeah, file extensions are a thing in here. I mean, you see we've got TXT files, you've got a .blank file, and then here's again our JPEG. So I think it just is like pulling the file type information from the original file, and you can only just save it as that type of file. Next up, we got Minesweeper, because who doesn't love that? And I just lost immediately. Isn't that great? Yeah, let's maybe just go in here again so I can click around a little bit here. Okay, well. Yeah, I'm not particularly good at Minesweeper. Oh my gosh, I lost like 3 times in a row. Network, we've got Telnet. I don't know if we're actually on the network, but there's one Telnet server that I know, towel.blinkenlights.nl. This is that ASCII text version of Star Wars. Invalid address.
Also a fake message of the day.
Surprising. I don't think it has detected our network adapter. I don't really know if there's a way to configure that. We'll see if we go under administration, if there's something under there. But we got screenshot, so we can save a screenshot. I guess it just takes one now. Save this as screen, and yeah, saving screenshot. So we go in here, and there's a screenshot. Now I am a little bit curious though. Let me see if I can put in like a floppy disk. See if we can like even read off of that, because I'd like to copy these files over to like some sort of removable media so I can look at them on my computer here in my Windows system and just see like what file extension they're using. So let's go to our floppy disk. It is reading off that. Oh, never mind, I can't mount it. Let me maybe try another disk here. Cannot mount. Okay, let me try a USB flash drive that I didn't just drop on the floor. Oh, look at that, it found it. But it can't change directory to it. That's okay. Oh, now it can't even change the temp directory. What? Okay, let's just close out of this. Is this like locking up again? Maybe we got too much stuff open. Okay, computer cannot load icon image. What? Okay, that isn't good. I think we're gonna have to restart. That's that is not good. Why is it all of a sudden like it can't read from the CD? I guess. I mean, I've not messed with the CD at all. But yeah, like we can't open up any of this stuff anymore. We're just getting errors like it can't read. Can we even go to shutdown? We don't have the full shutdown menu. There's supposed to be a shutdown and like restart button here. What if I hit enter? No, it's not going to do anything. All right, I got to force restart the system again. But this time I'm going to leave the USB drive in here while the system boots up so it can just mount it immediately. There it is. Oh, wait a second. This is Oh, this is that's right. This is the Visopsis USB that I was like, why is this like the file structure in here? Yeah, this is the USB drive that I was trying to use to boot off of, you know, Visopsis on these other systems. So okay, we should still be able to go. Oh no, that we've lost our temp stuff, because of course we did. Okay, let me go back into programs here. I'll just take another screenshot. It's really reading off the CD now. This thing is spinning up super fast. Okay, now it just stopped. The drive is not spinning at all, and we're just getting this like really quick flashing hourglass cursor there. I wonder if it's because the USB drive is a Visopsis drive, and that's kind of conflicting with the Visopsis install that it's booted from off the CD. That might be a stretch, but let me try to plug in another drive and do a forced restart again, because I don't think we're really, I think we're just locked up again. Alright, and now, for some reason, we have two separate drives showing up, even though there's only one partition on this drive. It's a FAT32 partition. Let's try to go to SD0A, and there's no media in there. Can we go? Okay, so maybe it can work with all USB drives. And this, by the way, is the same drive I just had plugged in. I just formatted it to FAT32. So, like, I don't know why it's not working. It should detect it. Alright, and this system is just behaving really wonky just with this USB drive plugged in. Like, maybe it's not mounted properly, but like it's not, the system's just not opening up any other windows now. Can we go to shut down again, or to log out? It's gonna like hang on that too. Okay, so I'm taking the USB drive out. We're just gonna boot it up the way it was before. Don't you love how even when I come up with a band-aid fix for a problem, we still encounter other problems and we're trying to just use the system? Where were we? Yeah, we were on network. Oh no, we were on screenshot. We're taking a screenshot, that's right. We also have Snake. So we've got we got a Snake game on here too. That's pretty cool. Don't see that every day, you know, coming pre-installed with the system. Certainly not something Windows has. Microsoft, you gotta step it up, man. But yeah, so, you know, I think everybody knows how to play Snake. It's a pretty self-explanatory game. And I just died because, yeah, I ran into myself. You're not supposed to do that. So yeah, we got a text editor as well. Process computer caused the page fault exception at application address 000. Okay, well, we can still open up View, which we used before actually just to browse in system here. And we went to, you know, visopsis.jpg just to view this in here, so you can totally do that. And then we have a virtual keyboard. And can we move this thing around? It doesn't look like it. These buttons down here are not for moving it around. This up here, I'm assuming, is just the close option. Or that, okay, that just hides it. Okay, so it's like running in the background. If we right-click on it, we can quit. Okay, so that's useful. But yeah, it doesn't look like you can resize it. Oh, wait, never mind. I spoke too soon. You can totally resize it, and you can kind of move it around. Like, can we go from the bottom here? Yeah, so you can like move it around that way, and then just make it larger here. You know, if you want it like at the top of the screen or something. Now it's a little bit too large. Yeah, you're gonna want it to be just down here at the bottom. You don't want it to be like, you know, taking up the whole friggin' screen. But I guess you could make it really large if you really wanted to. We'll go ahead and leave that running, because why not? But that is everything in the programs folder. And then we get into administration, where we've got a configuration editor for changing. You got all these comp files in here. And let's see, I see netprogs. That might be like some network related net admin, but do we have like a network settings? We do network. Okay, so let's see, network devices. No supported network devices. I do have 2 network cards in here. It looks like I didn't find either of them. Not terribly surprising, but I was kind of hoping we could go on Telnet. But yeah, you know, there's no like web browser in here, so that's all you can do is just use the freaking Telnet client. And you know, there's a packet sniffer and a ping tool in here as well. We've got a console window for viewing like that error that came up before, and just, you know, like the initial start process. We've got devices, which looks a lot kind of like Device Manager. You've got like a tree here. Here's our processor, and shows our, you know, like our vendor string and CPU type and family and all that stuff. We got memory, shows our size, BIOS, plug and play. We got PCI button controller, you know, floppy disk, PS2 mouse, all that stuff. So you can mess around in there. Disk Manager, this is the same tool that we saw before going through the install process. Something that's interesting that we will take a look at briefly in a moment is This developer also has another tool called Partition Logic, also on version 0.92, which is based off of Visopsys, and that's basically just this disk manager program. Maybe it's a more like advanced version of it, but it looks exactly the same. But it's strictly meant for you to boot off of either the CD, the floppy, or the USB drive, because there are 3 separate versions of it. And it's kind of like an alternative to gparted or something like that, where you can partition drives and do all that sort of stuff. So we'll take a look at that in a moment, but we already took a look at the disk manager during the install process. We've got display here for changing your screen resolution. We can set a different background image, which it looks like there are a couple in here. Look at that. We've got mountain, rainbow, and wave. We'll set the wave, because I think that looks kind of cool. We'll select that, I guess. Do we hit OK? Did it not apply, maybe? Let's try that again. OK. Well, that's interesting. It's not applying. And we can't even change the screen resolution over here. Now, this might be because we're booting off of the CD. Maybe you can't change these options. We can disable the background wallpaper, but that doesn't save anything. Show a clock on the desktop. Okay, we can do that at least. But yeah, we can't seem to change to set one of these wallpapers as an image. Can we change the color for the desktop? Can we make this like I don't know, something not super eye straining? Can we go with that? No, that doesn't even save either. Huh. Well, those options are there. I guess if you install it, you can, actually change all that stuff. File systems. So this shows the, different drives and the file systems that are on them. Font editor. You got a few fonts in here, and so you can just see what each of those characters look like. And, I guess you can edit them, and yeah, you can go in here. And, it pulls up the image editor, actually, so that's useful. So you can go in and change what each of those characters looks like. And then this is where you can clearly see that this is using a KDE icon set, because the install option has the KDE logo on it. But yeah, this will just bring up the same installer that we launched before. So you can run that from within the live CD environment if you want to, which is nice. You got keyboard mapping settings, so you can change your keyboard layout and all that stuff from here. Network we just saw. You have a program manager, which is kind of like a task manager. You can go in here and kill processes and run programs if you knew the name of an executable, or you could just browse for a specific file in there. Software. Now, this is where if we were on the internet, we could download packages and stuff like that. I don't know how much is available, and of course I can't demonstrate it because, well, we're not on the network, but it's nice to have in here, definitely. We've also got system diagnostics. If you want to do a read-only test or a read-write test on the disk, there's also a memory test. Let's go ahead and do a memory test. Why not? We'll see what that comes back with. Test completed with 0 errors. Well, isn't that nice?
Some of this is anxious into your honeypot. They see a completely unbelievable
we don't have the full system installed, but very nice if you were to have this running off of a hard disk and you want people to use the system. So yeah, that's everything under administration. And that is pretty much Visopsys in almost all of its glory. But before we end off the video, I do want to quickly show you partition logic. So we'll go ahead and pop this in. And so the startup process is like identical. It would even identify itself as Visopsys up there. But you just have this partition logic screen now, and there's no option to install because this is strictly meant to be run off of the CD or whatever other media that you chose to copy it to. And you just get the same, or what I think anyways, is the same disk manager tool. There very well might be, some other capabilities in here that aren't in the main one, but it does call itself partition logic. It does have that name instead of, disk manager or whatever it was before. And that is literally it. Though you do have under tools here, there's this new menu up here in the menu bar. You can go to your computer browser and system diagnostics and get a command window, get a text editor, administration, and get some of these options in here. And you can also take a screenshot. So it's basically a miniaturized version of Visopsys, and like you saw on the startup screen, it does identify itself as Visopsys in a few different areas, like here in the command window. It says Visopsys shell right there. But I think it's really impressive that this was all created by a single person. And yeah, I mean, it sucks that I wasn't able to get it fully installed, but I did try, like I said, on 8 separate computers and just didn't get anywhere. So maybe this will be worth revisiting in the future if I am able to eventually get it working. If anybody's got any suggestions, feel free to leave those down in the comments because I'm certainly open to hearing them. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode. I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, maybe consider becoming a patron or a channel member to get early access to these videos before anybody else. But either way, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode we're going to be checking out another alternative operating system from the mid to late 90s called Sky OS. And what makes this one pretty unique is it was developed entirely by one person throughout its existence. And no, this was not some script kiddie Visual Basic project. This actually ended up being a pretty capable system that garnered a bit of a cult following. It began life back in 1996 as a bootloader before evolving into an entire OS that was developed from scratch. So this isn't a Linux distro or based on another operating system, though it was POSIX compatible, at least almost, and had a handful of applications ported over to it. Also, this was a closed source commercial operating system that you had to buy a license for, and during its beta stage, you could get access to development builds by paying a €30 fee. However, prior to version 5, which started development in 2003, it was free to download. Now, if you've never heard of this before, that's because SkyOS did not get to the point of having a final official release, because development was halted back in 2009. And the developer attributed this to trouble keeping up with development of frameworks, drivers, and applications compared to the speed at which new hardware was getting developed, as well as real-life factors like his baby being born that understandably took time away from the project. At that time, he saw 4 things that could be done to SkyOS. It could be made open source.
This way, even if an attacker types LSB release -A, it fakes being Ubuntu.
And 2 of those things ended up happening. Development did stop. However, there was one final beta build, 6947 of SkyOS 5, released in 2013 that was free to download. And that's the version that we're going to be checking out today. So we're going to pop this into the 98 PC, and we'll see if we can
so
install it on
dense
this
even
thing.
the wisest
If not, I've got
scryers
plenty of other
would
computers
swear
that we
they
can try,
stood
and we're just going to
within
shut
the
down
real
the
citadel
computers
of
that have to
Ubuntu.
swap out the CF card that I'm using. And we'll
Next
get this
steps,
show
if
on
you
the road and see what this system can do. Now, it is worth noting that there actually was a build of SkyOS that was released after this one, but that was an internal alpha development build, and I thought about trying that, but I figured we would just, at least in this video, explore the last publicly available beta version, because this is what you could have downloaded back in 2013 to try out SkyOS yourself. Now, full disclosure, I have never used
Attacker
this
session
before.
can
I've
be
not
automatically
done any
reported
testing
without them
with it
knowing.
off camera, and it looks like we got a kernel debugger opened up
Echo.
here, unable to load INIT application. Well,
Script.
that's certainly interesting.
Q
Oh yeah, that's
dash
the problem.
F
This CF card does not
slash
have
var
a FAT or certainly a
slash
SkyFS
log
file system on it because
dot
it was used for a
hidden.
Linux install recently. Alright, well, after formatting that CF card with a FAT partition, we're here at the SkyOS serial number entry screen. So yeah, you had to enter this in even
log
for this public beta.
dot
So the
log.
name is just public, and the serial number, I'll have all this linked down below, by the way. This is just available in a archived snapshot of the SkyOS website. And here we go. Welcome to the SkyOS Live CD Retail. It's running in live CD mode directly from the CD-ROM using the SkyOS Branch FS technology. You have the possibility to make changes, install programs, even create documents. Of course, everything will be lost when you restart. And, okay, so there are some limitations if you don't install it to a hard disk. Indexing and queries not supported when running from live CD. Many applications are missing, like Thunderbird. Okay, you got Blender. So yeah, there's actually, I mean, you see we have Firefox here, so they had Thunderbird, Blender. They have a good amount of applications here. No printing support, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get this installed first before we start exploring the desktop and all the programs that it comes with. So we'll go English for the language, English US for the keyboard
When
layout,
someone logs
and
in
here's
their
some
whole
release
session,
notes.
commands,
So this is
typos,
debug build
everything
on
will
official
secretly be
release, so there
saved
may,
into
you may encounter some
var/var/log.
bugs. Let's see, known issues. Only UHCI and EHCI USB controllers are
Persistent
supported.
cross
Always unmount
session.
USB disk drives before disconnecting. That's just good practice anyways. You may have to start the printing service manually before printing the first time.
Fake BU name,
Alright, so let's
dash
just hit
A
next.
output,
And here's the
imitation of
license
flash.
agreement. We'll certainly read that whole thing. And we're just going to install it to the entire partition here. We could repartition it if we want to. This will bring up, looks like disk manager is known to have problems with various hard disk configurations. It'll be fixed for SkyOS 5.0 final, which of course never happened. So yeah, you could make another partition on it here if you want to. But we're just going to select the 3.8 gig partition, hit next, and it tells us this is not a SkyFS partition. It's recommended to use the disk manager to create a SkyFS partition first. Alright, we'll do just that. So we'll go back into disk manager here, and we will repartition the drive. Now, SkyFS is pretty interesting because this is actually a fork of OpenEFS, which itself is a re-implementation of the B file system from BOS. So it looks like, okay, we just have to kind of drag the window around there for it to show up. But yeah, we'll go back to our disk here, and we're just going to right click, delete this partition first. Yes, we want to delete it. And then we'll create a partition, make a SkyFS partition, and we will apply those changes. Okay, so it looks like we have to restart for changes to take effect. And we got to enter in the registered name and serial again. It is interesting that this was implemented even here in the public beta, this public free release. I mean, it makes sense because I assume, if this were to have gotten a final release, they would use a, system like this to make sure you actually purchase a copy. But I do wonder if, because like I said, this was a paid beta program for SkyOS 5. You had to actually pay and register to get access to these releases prior to this one. So I wonder if they had like everybody got an individual serial number and it wasn't just like one master one that you would just use for everybody. Maybe it was just like it is here for this version. But anyways, that's something that's going to have to be answered by somebody who actually beta tested this back in the day, or by the developer himself. But we're going to go ahead and just go through this again. And we'll read the license terms. And now we see that SkyFS partition, so we'll hit next. Should the device be formatted to SkyFS? Yes, we'll format it. Format finished successfully. Great. And here's all the packages that it will copy. So we're just going to grab everything because, why not? And there we go. It is preparing the packages here, and it's installing the base system. So we'll let it do its thing. Alright, so we're all finished up with copying the OS. We've also got the bootloader installed. Looks like we can also edit the boot configuration if we want to. Let's just open this up and see what this allows us to do. So yeah, here's a few options for us. It opens up the SkyPad. This is the text editor. So originally all this as a default value, but you could change things here if you wanted to. So we'll hit on next, and we have to remove the CD and press OK to restart. And there we go. So we have an admin as well as a test user. So we'll just log into the admin account here. Yeah, it never actually had us make our own user accounts. So a couple of things happened here. First of all, this SkyOS tips thing came up. It says, welcome to SkyOS tips. Use the previous and next buttons to navigate through the tips. So you can get additional software, including games from the SkyOS software store. We'll have to see if this is still available. I would imagine it's not. So here's this. There's no way this is actually going to be able to download anything anymore, but we'll definitely explore it in a moment. Optimal performance. You can get the best performance when switching to a sub-resolution at 32-bit color mode. Sure. You can open the panel menu by pressing the left Windows key, and then you can open the quick menu by pressing the right Windows key. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any Windows keys on this keyboard. Let's see if Control Escape. Okay, yeah, look at that. So Control Escape will still open up the applications menu there, or the panel menu is what they call it. Closing windows, you can press Alt F4 or clicking on the red close button. You can adjust window transparency. Look at that. By moving over the mouse over a window and pressing Control Alt cursor up and Control Alt cursor down, or Control Alt mouse wheel. So look at that. Wow. That is super cool. So yeah, you can just change the transparency of a window on the fly. And I love how you can do it with the mouse wheel. I mean, you could also just, you know, use the arrow keys there. Weather. Did you know the panel can display the current weather for your location? That is this right up here. So we'll see if, I mean, we'll have to get this thing. We'll see if it can connect to the internet, see if it's, you know, recognized our network adapter in here. And it has built-in proxy support. Okay, so yeah, I'm glad that I went through that. It's very nice that they've got that comes up immediately when you log in. And the next thing came up is this index feature that says one or more devices must be indexed. Indexing a device must be done once only, normally right after the installation. So yes, we'll have it index our devices. So this is, I imagine, continuing the hard drive. It's the only storage device we have, you know, something like a readable disk in right now. So yeah, this is Viewer, which is the file manager. So we can browse, you know, all of our devices here. We've got
Zero zombies.
Queries, so you have like a home folder, music, videos. Oh, there's actually some files on here. We got Kelly and Skytrack Mix. Let's see if it's got an audio driver working. Unable to open on. Oh, let's scan that here. Or not supported media file. Well, here's the Media Center program. Let's try to open up this one. Unable to open. So that could be because there's just no way for it to play anything back. There's no output device. We'll have to go into, I imagine in here, we've got settings, we have a registry editor, print spooler, system manager, plugins, and system manager. So system manager is going to be like control panel, I imagine. And then
force all commands to use your fake binaries first,
which they just call plugins here if we go back into settings. So you can get access to this stuff right from the menu or from in the system manager program. Under devices, let's see what we got. So system devices, got a bunch of stuff there. Processors, it's got our processor. Graphic and video devices. Okay, so it has detected our NVIDIA graphics card. This is an FX 5200. Can we double click on this? It doesn't look like it. It just says this device is working properly down here. And then we have the integrated, you know, Intel graphics as well. Network devices. Okay, so no driver available for either, because we do have two network adapters in here. We've got the built-in one on the motherboard, and then we also have a dedicated card. Mass storage controller, we're good on. Okay, it's got our floppy drive. It's got our Sony CD-ROM. Oh, something crashed. Please take a look at the notification panel for additional information. I think our task bar up here, or our menu bar, is not really, like, it's not really responding to my clicks right now. Alright, I've just restarted, and I think that this indexing going on in the background might have slowed something down and caused this process to start hanging. So we're just going to actually say no. It looks like the only thing, I mean, okay, we do have this multimedia audio device, whatever. Oh, this is the sound card. So it's not detected that, and it hasn't detected either of our network adapters. But yeah, regarding drivers, I've been looking around, and I imagine, like, you know, with this system already being so niche,
optional
it is
honey
going to be kind
token,
of difficult
fake
to find drivers.
secrets.
But yeah, so that's where you would view devices. Under display here, you can change your screen resolution. We're actually going to go down to 800 by 600 just so everything shows up a little bit better. Yeah, that's usually the resolution that I have this computer set to in these videos. File type, so you can associate file extensions and stuff with various, you know, applications in here. Gestures. Okay, what do we got here? Gestures can be executed by drawing the gesture right on the screen while pressing the middle mouse button. Wow. Okay. That's pretty. So you hold down the middle mouse button and right on the screen. Oh wow, that's really cool. So you can just open, and I mean, I imagine you can just assign your own gestures too, right? Like, can you make a new one? Yeah, so we can right click and add, and let's call this Firefox maybe, because we've got that on here. And then, so these are the four types of things you can make it do. So you can maximize focus window, minimize focus window, launch an application, or hide or show all windows. So we're definitely going to want to launch an application. And let's see, there's no file browser built into here, so we would have to, can we just like drag this? No, we can't do that. Let's try to just edit this here, and then, okay, so here's the destination path. We'll just copy that, and okay, well, maybe just, can we just right click, just do that and paste it there? No, we cannot paste face it there. That's interesting. I imagine keyboard shortcuts, yeah, like they work. That was copied to the keyboard. So okay, we just have to enter this manually. Boot, programs, Firefox, Firefox-bin.app. Yeah, there we go. We'll do that. Or was that already used for something? Well, we'll find out. So we'll apply that. So now we just go over here and draw a line like that. Yeah, see, this is the thing. It has to be like exact, doesn't it? Oh, I think that was it. Yep, there it is. At least up here, it's still loading up the window. Look at that. Wow, that is really cool. Like, that's super cool. So yeah, you can, add, I mean, yeah, you only have these 4 options, but still, I mean, that, like, just launching applications with this is really nice. But yeah, you can just, do that to minimize a window, minimize that, maximize stuff. I think like this, right? What is it? Yeah, maximize focused window. This probably, yeah, it does. It can maximize. So we'll go like that. See if we can get it to do this. Huh, okay, let's try it with Firefox. I mean, minimize seems to work every single time. So for some reason, maximize is having trouble there.
Next, I can show you how to create a fake root exploit.
Still,
so if an attacker tries to sudo OS, you tends to give them root.
But, yeah, I
They
mean, like
just
I said,
logs everything they do inside a second trap.
Before I started this video, which I think is really nice because it allows me to experience this for the first time as if I was beta testing this back in 2013 when it came out. So yeah, so you got these gestures in here. Here's your localization settings. Network stuff, of course, not really going to be relevant to our situation currently. You could, change proxy settings in here. Services, so you can start and stop services here. We actually have, look at that, it's got VMware tools built in. Wow, that's super nice. So yeah, the dev did specifically mention on the website when this was released that, if you want to install it in
when they
VMware
type
tools,
sudo
here are the best
anything, it
settings
pretends
for
to ask for
VMware.
their password
So,
delays
yeah, it's
for
really nice
reals
they've
and
got
then
VMware
tells them they are
tools,
forbidden.
right, built in. So, you could be able to use the built-in network adapter, and you could probably have sound working as well, I imagine, in here. So, yeah. And then under themes, what do we got? Royal Blue and WinDUI. So this is like a Windows XP style theme. And then we have WinDUI, which, I mean, I hope that's not Windows getting a DUI, but, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, it has to be what we have applied right now. This one did not, I mean, I hit apply here. It doesn't seem to be doing it. Well, it's been a little bit here. It's still not applying. I mean, like I said, this is, a beta release, so there are going to be things broken. Maybe themes and stuff just weren't really implemented yet. But yeah, so that is your system manager. So
Shit, I fucking put a noon to.
Aside from Firefox,
Fucking god damn it!
We've got IDE, which is the Native SkyOS Integrated Development Environment for building applications and such. I would imagine so you can make new projects. And yeah, I am. Oh, and wait a second. Look at that. It applied. Wait. It did apply the theme. It just didn't apply it up here. I guess maybe we have to. Can we close this and then relaunch it? Maybe if we just like get out of, we just log off and log back on. There we go. Yeah, so you just have to restart everything, for the theme to actually take effect. It's not instantaneous. But yeah, so got some development stuff. Entertainment. What do we have? Okay, we have some demos. OpenGL and SDL. The way the folder, the resolution being as low. Maybe I should have changed the resolution because I can't really get to that other folder there. But you got some games as well. And yeah, I can we move? Oh, actually, what we can do is just open up applications and stuff to increase the sizes to push this over. And now, yeah, that'll give us more space. So we'll just have this viewer open, and we'll minimize that. And now if we go in here, so under Entertainment, Demos, OpenGL, so we've got, let's open up Tunnel here, and yeah, these are just going to be, OpenGL demos. This is running pretty slow there, and I imagine it's probably going to use up a good amount of system resources if we keep it open. I definitely want to look at what games we have on here. So we have Airstrike, Egg Chess, Foo Billiard Minesweeper, SDL L Breakout, Scum VM. Whoa, okay. Sky Match. I mean, let's just start going through this stuff. So what's airstrike? Of course, the fact that we don't have sound is going to kind of limit our immersion experience here. And this window does not have a maximize button either, so we just have to kind of do this. So in the game, press escape from menu. Winner is first to 5 points. Press any key to start. Okay. So, what are what are the controls? Well, you have to hit escape here to get to this menu, and we can go down to, let's see, player setup. So left player's AI, right player's keyboard, right player keys. So hit the appropriate key. Okay, so let's make fire. I guess we can just do period or unknown key. Okay, left, right, accelerate. So it recognized left and right as the left and right arrow key. Accelerate as comma is unknown key. Bomb is
Fake
space.
SU
Okay,
command. Fake
so
root
if
shell.
we go back and resume game. So I'm still not doing anything. I am the right player. Okay. Well, let me go back in here again. What do we got going on? Player setup. Oh, I guess maybe we have to set it to. Okay, let's just do fire is space bar. Let's do A, D, accelerate W, bomb S. Okay. Let's try that. So I guess because it says unknown key, it actually doesn't recognize it. Okay, well, I'm being pushed off the screen right now, but I'm actually moving. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. Okay, so now I'm flying right into this bomb. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, and I just respawned. Okay, so this should... Oh no. Oh no. What? The game is freezing up. How am I just like floating, and then of course now I'm like going down. But yeah, so that's airstrike. I do want to actually take a look at all these games. Oh, it looks like it crashed. Okay, I don't want to bother debugging it, but yeah. So that is airstrike. We have, what is egg chess? Is this chess with eggs? Okay, it's free software. Player 1 places an egg, whole, half eaten, or empty, in one of the 9 nests. Player 2 can place a new egg, eat a part of the existing egg, or eat the whole egg. And next player 1 does the same. The winner is the player who gets 3 whole, half-eaten, or empty eggs in a row. So you need 2 players. So we'll place a whole egg here. And yeah, so we actually need to have, like, so I can just, go like this, and then, yeah, player 1 wins. Okay, so this is actually, like, I guess there isn't an AI setting on here. And escape just closes out of it, apparently. That's egg chess. We also have foo billiard, which this actually has a maximize button. There we go. So now it's maximized. We can actually like see everything. Definitely lagging here. I see, it's zooming out here. This is, yeah, we're not going to be able to run this well at all. So
What?
Yeah, we'll just close out of this before the application crashes.
Oh my god.
And I can already see, like,
Why is it doing this?
Yeah, we got some input lag here. There
Oh,
we go. Okay.
fuck.
So we're probably not
Why
gonna
is
be
it
able to
doing
do
this?
all of these. Minesweeper we should be able to do just fine. So we'll just oh, well, that certainly helps. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I lost. Yeah, so you got Minesweeper, you've got SDL Breakout. There you go. I mean, gotta love Breakout. Super cool. Let's go back in here. Let's actually close out of this first. I mean, I know I'm kind of going through these pretty quickly, but you get the gist of it, right? I mean, I do want to take a look at all the programs on here. So this is interesting that we have Scum VM on here. So we have Day of the Tentacle and Salmon Max. Both games that I have never played, and they're both demos. But let's see if see how well they run on here. Of course, we have like audio going right now. We can't hear anything, unfortunately, but it does run. Now, what happens when we try to run both of these at the same time? That's probably where things are gonna.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm going in the wrong thing. Games, Scum VM. Let's open up Salmon Max. Well, they are both running. I actually want to see, is there like can we like right click on this maybe, or right click on the desktop for CPU usage? Oh, that just brings it up. Okay, that's really nice. So you can add this stuff, I guess this menu here, or wait a second. Oh, I guess I did right click on here, yeah. So you can see like free memory. So you see we're at like almost 100% CPU usage. System uptime we can have up here. We can have a query. Okay, so that's to search. We don't really need these two things. But yeah, there we go. So now we can actually see the CPU usage and the memory usage. That is really nice. But yeah, you see, it's like it definitely having both of these running. Let's see if we just go back to one. See if that drops are. It doesn't really look like it. It's still using over 99%. But let's close out of that, and this should now drop. There we go. Wait, what? There's no way. It's sitting at idle. Let's try to maybe just disable it and re-enable it. How is it still at 99%? What the heck? That can't be right. Why is it using so much CPU? Oh my gosh, the system manager program? Holy cow, that was using that much usage, though. I just had that up and minimized so that, you know, it would push the menu bar over. Really, I guess it's this thing, right? If we get out of it, wow, that uses that much CPU usage just having this thing scrolling by? That is nuts. Okay, so you know, now we could probably go back into, I mean, now that we've like, we have all this stuff, we've pushed this menu bar over here, why don't we get the query thing and go back in here. So now what game was running kind of poorly? This billiard one. No, I mean, it's still like, yeah, it's not doing really well. Still lagging there. I think it is running better, like marginally better, maybe not, but yeah, it's still having trouble. So I imagine that's not going to really impact. But okay, so we were on Scum VM. We've also got a Sky Match. So this is just your classic match game here. You have to not be the last person to take a match. So I'll do 3. CPU does 3. So let's do 2. I'll remove 2. He'll just remove 2 and I'll do 1. Yeah, I did that wrong. So I'm going to do 2. I'd like to win at least one of these. Oh, it shows the match count down here too. That's super nice. So there's 12 left. Let's do 3. That gives us 9, 8. Alright, I'm going to do 3. The CPU is going to do 1. And then I can do 3. And then I win. Heck yeah. That's a nice little, you know, passing time game. I keep thinking there's going to be a game folder in here. You have to go into entertainment, then games. So that's that. Then we have Skytris, which is going to be Tetris. Oh my. Okay, well, you can't press the down arrow key to move the piece, you know, slowly, like line by line down. It just goes right to the bottom. So, and also the colors are kind of, like, let's do a new game here. I mean, like, that being white, like on a white background, doesn't really show up super well. And I really do not like playing Tetris like this. I like to be able to, you know, slowly move. I mean, is there like a way to do that? No, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, there's Tetris, or Skytris, I should say. And we've got tic-tac-toe, super simple. The user wins. There you go. And we had Transport Tycoon Deluxe. Open Transport Tycoon. Okay. Now, I've never played Transport Tycoon. I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon a lot. But, yeah, I mean, here you go. You got, like, finances and everything. Let's see here. Let's just get out of that. I mean, the game seems to be running pretty well. I don't even really know what to do, to be honest. Like, what do you, I mean, we got to start building stuff, right? I imagine. Well, I assume we could build onto this road here, right? Yeah, road construction. So we can start like, yeah. We can build out there. I mean, this seems to be running just fine. Maybe make a road over here. And then, I don't know, what do we want? We just like went over this guy's farmland. But yeah, and you can zoom out, zoom in. So there you go. Seems to be running fine. I mean, our CPU usage is getting pretty up there. But, I mean, again, you know, it's also going to depend on, like, oh, and look at that. Are you sure you want to quit and abandon this game and return to Unix? Under multimedia, we've got a media center and a media library. So this is that same application we had when we tried to open up those audio files before. And then we've also got media library. which is like a full screen thing, okay? So, go to movies, pictures. Oh, it's not a full screen thing. It's just a window that is so large that it takes up the whole, more than the entire screen here. Maybe we should have kept this at 1024 by 760. We could always set it back to it, but this does look, I mean, it is definitely a proof of concept, I can already tell here. So, because it just has like, yeah, it just searches for, it just does it actually, so you could just do this from up here, but it finds all these files, and then we can, you know, go down and like open something up. Movies, vehicle barrier.wmv, and it's playing like in line there, and then pictures. So the pictures do not show up in line. That's interesting, right? Like it's not. Oh no, there it is. It shows up over here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, oh my gosh, this application is like glitching out here. I'm gonna change the. All right, so there we go. Now we can see a little bit more of the SkyOS media library. So yeah, it does show your images, or no, it doesn't. No, that's just the default image. Okay, so why does it show? That's really interesting. Like it played. Oh, you have to actually hit the right arrow key. Okay, so if we go down to photos and do that, no, that doesn't work. Like I feel like that would be backwards, right? Like you could do that with photos, but not videos. But you can do that with videos. You can go in here and hit the right arrow key, and it starts playing the video right in there. What does music do? Does it have like an audio player maybe? No? Yeah, there we go. So we can play, I assume it's playing an MP3 anyways. So that's the entertainment folder. Next up is image editing. So we actually have Blender on here. Yeah, so this is definitely an older version. It has been it's been a while since I've used Blender. I am not proficient in Blender at all, but I have made like a few things in it over the years. So yeah, there you go. And then we have, oh, and it crashed too. We've been seeing that like a fair amount throughout this video. And what is the pixel image editor? Well, it's an image editor that goes by the name Pixel. So is this going to be like a Photoshop kind of thing? That's what it looks like. This is a demo version, okay? You can test it, and if you like it, you can purchase it for $32. After purchasing, 2 limitations are removed: visible watermarks, images, and this annoying window. Oh, so you can't get rid of this window. Oh, well, maybe you can, but maybe it just comes back up again. But, well, I mean, you guys know the rule. I guess we have an image editor on here. We gotta make an image with our classic cool file name. And let's see. We want to get some greens here. Apply that, close out of that, get some like spray.
You must bind your honeypot to the
around
world,
JD.
so when you reboot it still exists.
Grab some text is cool, and then let's do that. Maybe no. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and there's the demo. Look at that. Oh, that's really annoying actually. So yeah, can we make like layers? Because I don't want to do that, over the image.
File tool.
How do we, go to layer, background.
SH.
Oh yeah, that looks awesome, doesn't it? Okay, so let's save that. Error writing to disk.
Saves home, TC, ETC,
well,
anything else.
Certainly not a file
tracked.
space restriction. I mean, we should have plenty of space, right? If we go back into
saves only
our
one's listed in the
viewer,
slash.
yeah, 32% used. I've also noticed that the CD drive does not show up in here, despite the fact that the device manager
OPT
earlier, or whatever it was called,
slash
it did recognize
dot
the CD-ROM
file
drive. Yeah, if you
tool
right-click on the desktop, there is this
LST.
option for mount here. It doesn't seem like we can do that from within the file manager, which is kind of weird. New folder, view as
Fake
previews.
bid
Yeah, we don't
there.
have. That's interesting. This just makes a new tab. Yeah, so not over here. Can we right click on devices? No. So okay, let's just do that here because I've got a CD mounted. So we'll mount as CDFS, or let's just do mount first. We got drive activity. Yep, there it is, CD1. So yeah, that works totally fine. So you can mount in the same thing with the floppy drive as well. But yeah, apparently we can't save to the disk, and it's not full, so that is rather unfortunate. I assume that's a bug or something. But yeah, so you got some image editing stuff. Internet and network, you've got Mozilla Thunderbird. You have an IRC client, VNC stuff, web authoring. You have, of course, Firefox. You also have links. Yeah, so I mean, again, we're not going to be able to really do anything because we're not connected to the internet. But we also have Mozilla Thunderbird, see what version this is. I'm just curious. This is canceled. They're not going to bother setting up an account, and it crashed. Dang. Gosh, stuff crashing does seem to be a common theme on here. But why don't let's open up this. We'll also open up the other email client as well, SkyOS Mail. So this is like the native one that was, I mean, I would imagine anyways, developed specifically for SkyOS. Look at that. Yeah, when we open up the SkyOS Mail program, we actually get this little icon in the, I want to say system tray. I mean, whatever this would be called. And yeah, it does look like the theme we have applied does not universally apply to all applications. So okay, why don't we try? We'll minimize this. Why don't we try to run through and just put in well, you can't really. Actually, yeah, you can't even type in anything there. I mean, I guess if you.
Fake SSH server, fake
well,
commands, fake
that
path,
makes
all
this unusable. You can't even type in.
Cursed artifacting
like
your
email
virtual
address.
box forever.
Can we resize
Cool.
this window? Yeah, we can. That doesn't appear to fix anything though. Can we like tab to it maybe? No, we're just tabbing through the buttons down there at the bottom. Well, yeah, we'll exit the account wizard. I'm trying to see here we go, about. Let's see if we can get this before it crashes. Mozilla Thunderbird, no version number, that's cool. Maybe under credits? Let's see, it's one of these scrolling ones. No, that's just gonna be all the names. So yeah, special thanks, there you go. Thanks guys for making Thunderbird. I used to use Thunderbird a while back, but yeah. So you have some version of Thunderbird on here, and then here's the regular mail program. I feel like you would want to use
Take
the
snapshot.
native one. It's probably, well, first of all, you can actually enter in a name and an email address in there. So yeah, and then when we close out of it, it gets rid of that little icon there. But yeah, we've got an IRC client. We have, again, VNC stuff. I mean, pretty much all this stuff in here we're not going to actually be able to do anything with because, we're not connected to the internet. But what is under web authoring here? Yeah, this is a web authoring program. So let's see what version this is. Linspire Inc. Really? But yeah, this is a WYSIWYG HTML editor, very similar to like Microsoft FrontPage. We did a video with that, FrontPage 98 specifically, back a couple years ago. So, you could make a super cool, like Michael MJD's awesome site, and we could, increase the header there, make it bold, underline, all that stuff. And then let's just maybe type some more stuff, like this is so cool, man. Just, I don't know, make that italicized.